Today is Monday, March the 4th, and we're going to look at our regular 7 stocks in the S&P 500. But we're only going to look, well, we're going to look primarily at the 1 week now and look at things long term. So we look at the S&P 500 on the 1 week. We had the week come down and test the cloud, but end up closing above the cloud. But the Chiku span, which we always look at, that trailing 26 period indicator, 26 weeks back, is running into a lot of congestion at the 50 moving average, the Tenkan Sen, it's above the 200, but it's underneath the 8. So it's just caught what I like to refer to as caught in the weeds here. So we could see some churning in the S&P 500 as the Chiku span tries to break through this resistance and through this ceiling of clouds. So once the Chiku span gets out and above these candles, we can see the S&P continue to start moving up. But the general direction is up, and we see that on the daily basis. And we're looking at the next resistance at being 2814, which is the high from 3 days ago, from November the 7th, and from October the 16th, and formed a fairly good base down here for going up to those new highs. So 2814. Apple. Let's go to the 1 week. On the weekly, what do we see? We saw back here the bottom was confirmed by a couple of things. Number one was the Chiku span hitting the bottom of the weekly cloud and getting support. So that would have been a strong indicator to buy. Also, we saw a 61.8 or a retracement back to 61.8. So just, 61.8% of this very strong move up. So we saw those two things happen concurrently, and that would have been a good place to buy. Right now on the daily, I'm going to get dizzy here. We're still seeing the difficulty moving through this gap. GDX on the 1 week, we saw some weeks ago this resistance on the cloud, and we saw some support here. So GDX, of course, is going to be inversely related to how the general market is doing. And if we're seeing a strong S&P, we're probably not going to see much in the way of the gold miners do anything. Now, global payments network that we started following last week, we never did get that pullback. It's now reaching to new highs. So I would just let that one run and wait for our opportunity in the future. Caterpillar, on the week, we saw it close that gap. We still see it going up to 149.52, but the Chiku span got definite resistance right here on this. Well, I've got already marked with the red arrow here, but we've got it definitely, resistance definitely on that cloud there. So Caterpillar, general motion is still up, unable to fill that gap, but we're still going to 159, 49.52. Intel Corporation, the daily has always shown us for a long time that we're going up. We're going to be very close to, we formed a new high this week. So let's see what happens. Here's the weekly chart. We see the Chiku span way out in the open now, and we see that way above the clouds. We can expect some more upward motion, then possibly some attraction down as the flat cloud provides this magnetic pull to price. If there's any retesting going to go on, it's going to be somewhere, in a direction maybe with the Chiku span coming down here and testing the 200. WDC, still a great stock. The daily hasn't told us anything for a while. It's just been trailing, trying to fill this gap. But the weekly is telling us that WDC's direction is up, and resistance is going to be the Chiku span and this ceiling of candles here. So that's a review of our stocks. Thank you for dropping in.